Very true. Right. So I think one of the key messaging that came out with the whole Telco App Stores is the developer community. So Subindra, I want to ask you what has been your experience in doing this developer community, and what some of your thoughts on how you went about creating this and building this community.
Yeah, I think that was another important thing for us, because we, not being the #1 operator in Sri Lanka, we also wanted to move out and differentiate ourselves. We, because of certain things that we have done in the country, have seen as an innovator, and coming with an SDP first, and then saying this is for you rather than it is for me, because what we went and said is there's a lot of developers in this country. IT field is one of the most attractive and most sought after fields in Sri Lanka. So naturally, most of the software that you have is outsourced to Sri Lanka. So we said you can write your own apps, and we said we give you 70% revenue share. That was a big wow, and suddenly we nearly have 10,000 people who have registered and downloaded the toolkits and the simulators. There's about 1,000 who is active. We have done a lot of hand-holding, we have done a lot of conferences and seminars. It was, the last 5 months was quite a challenge, because it was not as easy as, okay, now there's this app, developers, you develop. Obviously they face hurdles, there's a lot of things, but it's interesting that they are very keen. And it is creating, for me as an operator, two things. One is, these apps now I will market and create a differentiation in the market, because there will be a large number of applications, different small but good to use applications. Yes, it will generate revenue. Secondly, there is another community of developers who will talk about me, create social networking, because they will market their own apps. So suddenly there's a separate differentiation. There's a lot of people out there who will be marketing my brand, saying, use it, because this is for us, and they'll be telling their friends, if you use it, I get it. They get revenue shares. And then obviously we will, at one point of time, market some of these developers themselves, creating another huge awareness in the market, saying there is a big opportunity for entrepreneurs, small-time entrepreneurs, to get on board. So I think it's a very interesting experience. It is for the brand, for the business. If you even forget for a moment the revenues I will make with SMS and MMS, it has taken our brand to a completely different level in terms of innovation, in terms of how the younger community, the 20 to 25-year-olds now look at our brand, because we have come forward in a very different way to support it.
So I think same thing from M1. I mean, when you actually early stage, there were two aspects. One was when you looking at SDP, you all also wanted to support the legacy applications on the migration, because we wanted to bring it in. Plus, we want to actually build this developer community that was going to need to build the next levels of next generation applications. What are your thoughts on that area?
I think it's going to be an uphill task, because to build a community is not a small task. So you need to have awareness. You got to evangelize your development toolkit, your API, and you got the marketing. So it's not going to be a small task. It's going to be actually, think about it, it's going to be a humongous task, where you're going to go up to the developers and tell them that, hey, look, I have this neat API which you guys can use, where it is, even though it is going to be easy to use, especially when it's designed with an internet flavor there, but yet you need to go out there and tell people about it. So I would say that the task on hand will be basically marketing and evangelizing your protocol. Unlike Apple and Google, where they have a brand name there, when everybody actually go to them to want to develop that application, but in a mobile network case, I think it's the other way around, where we need to coax developers to want to do it. So I think that's going to be a huge task for not just M1, but any mobile operator who wants to do application development, especially network-based.
I think that's very true. I think what's your experience, I think you're from Philippines, in that area.
Yeah, so for us, for what we call legacy VAS, we have about 300 content providers actually building different applications on SNS and MS. But what we're talking about is really the developer community for network APIs, for the device, for the App Store. That's a little bit different. So in my perspective, it's really to attract the developer community, they need to make money. If the developers make money, they will come, right? The other thing is, how easy is it to develop on your platform? Is it a very simple distribution method? How do you test your apps? How do you publish your apps? So all of that, I think Apple is sort of the benchmark today. If we can replicate that, then that's something that we can actually use to attract developers. So one is to make money. Two is it easy to develop applications on your platform? And three is, of course, distribution and discovery.